Marco Nessie.
Here.
Gerald Wolfgang.
Here.
Mary Lynn Candela.
Here.
Robert Cliff.
Here.
Scott Bridges.
Here.
Clifford Scott.
Here.
Jason Krempa.
Here.
Let's see, introduction of guests.
Jim Fink from Business First.
Okay.
Mike Dudley, agency staff.
John Sims, Nevada Aerospace.
Andrew Isaac, agency staff.
Nancy Lasky, agency staff.
Caroline Crusoe, agency staff.
Mark Clifford, agency counsel. Would you introduce yourself?
John Shearer, IDW,
Nick Boyle, IDW, 37.
Thank you. We stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, 5.0, the approval of meeting minutes from the September 9th meeting.
Approved.
Yes.
We make a motion.
I motion for the meeting minutes to be approved.
Okay, we need a second.
Second.
Here, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay. Finance and Audit Committee reports, the payables, and the budget variance report. We were in order. Are there any questions on those? Need a motion to approve?
So,
First, give me a second. Stop. Thank you. And the budget, the vote report you have.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I got the motion to be able to vote. I didn't hear.
I'm sorry. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
but at an earlier meeting, I reviewed the three budgets with the audit committee and several members of the board. And today's objective for the board is to approve this budget, and then it will be sent to the county for a mandatory 20-day review, which then we will, the board will officially adopt these budgets at our next meeting.
Are there any questions to talk about this? Then I need a motion to accept the budget. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, unfinished business, Nevada Aerospace Limited.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A public hearing has been held regarding providing aerospace on October 2nd, 2020. A comment in support of the project was made by John Shearer, a business manager of IBEW, Local 237. Other than that, no comments were made.
The comments from us about it. What's that?
No.
Okay. So we need a motion for the final resolution.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Noah. Mr. Cliff, second. We need a roll call vote for this.
Yes.
Mr. Onesi.
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang.
Yes.
Ms. Candela.
Yes.
Mr. Cliff.
Yes.
Mr. Bridges.
Yes.
Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Krempa.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. 7.2. The waste about voting.
Yes. No, this is just a request. We've received a request at the agency level for a 6-month use extension. We anticipate this project closing in the next couple of months. to the inducement.
And that's just a normal extension.
It is.
Not
That is,
Are there any questions about this, the extension? Need a motion for to approve it? Mr. Kempa, okay, thank you. We also need a roll call for this as well.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. 8.1, ICC Commonwealth.
yes, thank you. ICC Commonwealth, which in this particular matter is the, under the entity Global Dominion Access USA Corp., is requesting that they step into the shoes of an existing IDA project known as Ascension Industries. I don't believe there's anyone from the company that's here today. Oh, there is, okay. Global, it is our understanding that Global is wishing to step into the shoes. There's only, I believe, 3 years left in the existing pilot. We're not providing them with any additional benefits that were already approved by this board as part of the original pilot. And in return, the company will continue to operate this location with its present workforce. I guess there is a individual from the company. If you have any questions, if you'd like to say a few words for the board.
ICC Commonwealth was established in 2008. International Chimney, which was one of the original companies, started in 1927. We do heavy construction, we move buildings, we moved a number of lighthouses, Cape Hatteras, Block Island. We go all over the world. Our main business was industrial chimneys. Now we're branching out. Industrial chimneys obviously is closed. We've had several items for demolition of these chimneys, and we like the whirlwinds of the property with the overhead cranes, and it fits our needs pretty good. So we're happy to come in there. We really appreciate some assistance. I have some brochures and some books here if you'd like to pass them around.
Okay. Sure.
See the structural roots here. Machine we actually patented in 2013. We've taken down over 37 large industrial chimneys, ranging in size from 300 feet to 830 feet. It's quite an accomplishment. We've also patented scaffolding systems for the outside of the chimneys. We have an engineering staff, project managers, and we go to local unions. When we're doing these jobs, we send a core group of people out, and then we pick up people from the local unions in whatever area we're working in. Like I said, we go all over the country. Right now, we're doing a job at Brookhaven National Labs in Long Island. We're selected to do the demolition actually there for the Department of Energy and the Army Corps of Engineers. We're also working up in Canada. The second tallest chimney in Canada is 1,250 feet tall. We're selected to take the liner out of that, just because of our experience in that engineering staff. So, like I said, we go all over the world. Some of you might know the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. It was 280 feet tall. We moved that inland about a quarter mile with all the keepers' quarters. We're doing a job right now off the coast of Washington on Flattery Island for the Parks Department. We got to fly everybody into that job with helicopters and bring all the equipment. It was a 60-day job. We're wrapping that up now. Like I said, I think it's a great opportunity for both us and youths. We're in the facilities. We appreciate your help. It's going to be a little costly moving in there. We have fabrication shop in Buffalo. It employs about four people. We also rent a large facility in Buffalo, it's 100,000 square feet. And we have an office and warehouse in Williams, and we're trying to combine all this into one area to become more efficient and reduce some of our burdens and multiple property taxes. I think there's any questions.
Anybody have a question? Thank you very much. We need a motion for the time of the assumption.
Approved.
$10. Second. Need a roll call vote for this vote.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
Yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krempa?
Yes. Great. Thank you. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Jason?
Thank you. If anybody has had the opportunity to take a nap this morning during the meeting, this is the time. I'm sorry this is extraordinarily dry, but nevertheless, we have to move forward with it. Bathroom, whatever break it. A number of years ago, this agency drafted what was a green energy policy, which was forwarded to you approximately 10 days ago with a slight small memo from me showing what we've done in the past. What I've been dealing with, and Sue has been dealing with the county on this issue for a number of years, recently a number of months. What basically has happened is there is a provision within New York State Section 487 of the Real Property Tax Law, which automatically grants green energy projects such as wind farms and solar farms, and immediately taxes on pilot for their projects in those locations under certain circumstances. It's been on the books for years and years. A number of years ago, they actually allowed each subject effective taxing jurisdiction to opt out of this section, which means that they didn't automatically get this 487 pilot benefit. But what had taken place, in the past was, okay, then the company does an end around to the municipality, comes to an agency who may or may not listen to the municipality, and then grants them a pilot anyway. So this has been an issue. We wanted to overcome that a number of years ago, which we did in our existing policy. And it basically says, listen, we're not going to go forward with these green energy policies unless we get approvals. The county has, I believe last night, finally, they have actually opted out of 487 as well. But as part of their opt-out language, and as part of what this new green energy policy draft in front of you keeps in mind is they want to allow the local municipality, being the city, the town, the village, to make the calls themselves of whether or not they want these green energy solar farms and or wind farms in their backyard, their communities. And that we as an agency, the county in their role, will not go ahead and push these in a community that doesn't basically want them. Having said that, however, in order for it not to be automatic, these municipalities, and I assume most of them, if not all, have or will opt out. If they opt out, but there is a project that they support, let's call it a 5 megawatt project for solar in their particular community they think would be helpful, that's located on a brownfield, or it's in land that no one can see, and they want to support that, they still can opt out, but they then, with their consent, with their written consent, can come to our agency and get a pilot from us in lieu of using the 487 exemption, which is basically allowing those decisions to be made in that host community, which we want. We don't want to step into someone else's community and tell them what is good for the community. So what this provision does is twofold. It limits our ability. It makes it clear to companies that we're not going to entertain any project unless your local municipality agrees to it. And what it also does is eliminates a lot of the negotiation. And I've seen in the past certain solar farms where they'll come up with their projects so that they say it's worth this, so we only should pay X amount of dollars per megawatt. Here we're setting forth, and there's been a lot of research done by the county, which their county attorney's office actually did a really nice job on this, saying these are what the going rates are in New York State for these types of numbers and these types of projects. Now, what you have in front of you is a scale. It's it's basically a reference scale. We're not locked directly into these, but I think when a company comes in and they understand what our scale is, they can make their determination of whether or not, with the consent, this project makes sense to them going forward. So what we've done is we've drafted a updated green energy policy, which I have before you, which basically says the same exact thing I just mentioned is, hey, if a municipality has opted out, but they want to support, let's say, a solar project in their community, they will have a in writing letter to us saying, hey, please accept this application. We will support this project. Doesn't mean we have to. Let's be clear. We don't have to. But it allows us at least to walk in the door and look at the application to go forward. And once that takes place, the negotiation and the terms of the pilot are also set forth here. So there's some certainty which benefits the company as well as the taxing jurisdictions of what goes forward right here. And again, and it was stressed to me a million times by the county group was they don't think we should, which we've already decided this 5 years ago. We don't want to make decisions on behalf of any community. These types of projects are something that are best left to the heads of those municipalities to make those decisions on green energy. So that's what you have. I told you it was boring, but it is a necessary. I think it's a necessary evil to consider. And if you have any questions, I hope I can answer them. I'll try. Yes.
I got a question, and maybe the answer is no, but with this, is there any implication on zoning with regard to whether or not we extend a pilot or not? So
Everything that we do pilot-wise, whether it's these green energy projects or whether it's a Stravati project that just was approved, all local zoning, ordinance, planning, they have to step through the hoops of their local municipality. We have nothing to do with, nor would we ever have anything to do with that. However, jumping through those hoops are a condition of our benefits and incentives.
By the county, their county approved last night a policy for
Opting out, yes.
opting out. Our green policy still allows the municipality to come to us to get a pilot.
Yes, that's exactly what it does. And the county's doing exactly what we're doing, and what we've done is saying, if everybody has opted out, but for example, if a municipality hasn't opted out, then they don't have to come to us because the provisions of 487 kick in and they automatically get a pilot under state law. But if the municipality has opted out, which I believe most will, the only avenue for them, for a company then to get pilot benefits to help their project would be twofold. The first is that local municipality host community has to consent to it, send us a letter that they consent to the project, and then we would then review the application and move forward with the pilot along these schedules.
So as far as economic development, that still can continue as far as we're concerned, as far as the municipality can.
Absolutely, and it's what we want. We want economic development in the county, but we believe, and it's always in this board's position, that we believe the driving force should be that local community, whether they want these types of projects in their backyard.
So effectively, the municipality or the taxing jurisdiction has to come with an endorsement letter saying that they endorse X, Y, and Z project in order for us or anybody to give them a pilot.
100%, or we as a staff will not accept the application.
That automatic pilot from the state doesn't come to us.
Nope. that offsets it. And again, when it comes to, doesn't affect residential, we don't do residential. So it's only for these commercial projects of this size. Any other questions? So what I'm going to ask, Mr. Chairman, if you could, is a motion to accept our amended green energy policy as set forth. Can I have a motion?
So,
We do need a roll call since it is informal action.
Mr. Onesi?
Yes.
Mr. Wolfgang?
yes.
Ms. Candela?
Yes.
Mr. Cliff?
Yes.
Mr. Bridges?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Krupka?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm right here. Yes, we, as we discussed in the audit committee, most of you are here, some of you aren't, is we have a resolution for a new signature cards for our banks. We have like 25 bank accounts, but we only need to sign one. So we're asking all the board members, please sign. Carrie, you go guard the door, don't let them out. Before you leave, please just sign this for us. I think Carrie said you had to do your birth, date of birth or something, and a phone number. In case we do a transfer by phone call, the bank may call you to verify if you're the one who's approving the transfer. Chances are it's never going to happen, but a lot of times some people aren't available, and we just want to keep our options open to, because we have to have 2 signers for each check that we issue. So the more we have, the better. That's it. Carrie, you're not guarding the room.
I'm gonna start.
We don't need any motion.
Not on that.
Any other matters that the board wishes to discuss?
Actually, oh, I'm sorry.
2 questions to Mr. Gabriel. One had to do with the Steveni Aerospace Limited. I know we're getting a hearing, okay?
Sorry?
I know they had their hearing and we passed the resolution. They told us that they had reached out to a number of different areas across the country for other sites, and that we still had not heard back. I'm wondering how that process, are they keeping us informed as to that process?
What we would be informed for no other reason is whether or not they move forward with the project. We've induced them now, this board has induced them with the resolution here this morning that allows them 1 year to go forward with this project, to close on this project. So normally I get a feel for a project as to whether or not council responds to me in a fairly decent, quick manner, and whether they provide me with the documentation that I request and a feel for time. Surprisingly, I've actually had I've gone ahead and done some of the initial drafts on this project already, and forwarded on to Stravati's attorney because they stated to me at the last meeting that they hope to move forward quickly on this project. Okay, I've heard it before, but I actually received comments back to it. I mean, just minor corrections of addresses or something along those lines, but nevertheless, council is involved. So at this point, it appears it's moving forward. I can't guarantee it. They may have 2 more inducements for the same project in 2 different locations that we wouldn't be aware of. But what we've done now as an agency, however, is said, hey, you come to this area, here's the inducement package that the agency will provide you. Hopefully this is good, hopefully you close your project. If they choose to ignore it, then the project goes by the wayside. I do have one side note. Originally, Vitson Properties was on today's agenda. It was taken off. We have reached out to the city of Lockport for a number of months in regards to getting some input on this property because of the non-for-profit status, because of the various degrees of I don't want to say confusion, but certainly there's assisted living facilities, nursing facility, there's some duplexes involved, which are supposed to be this whole entire complex, and whether or not they were subject to a pilot themselves, like other municipal, I believe even the town of Wheatfield ended up with a pilot with the same group for a similar thing. We didn't receive any word from the city of Rockport, so we moved forward with this last month. It was again moving forward with a public hearing Monday. 15 minutes before the public hearing, we received a letter from Rockport showing concerns. Now, thank you very much. We held a public hearing. We had a couple of comments from Alderman, I believe, about the same line as the letter. We're going to be providing the board the letter. We provided it to the company, what is standard under situations where we have a municipality that has questions or concerns on a project, especially a deviated project like this was. We allow now the company to respond to these concerns and either present both to you for a decision, or what we like to do is encourage the two parties to get together to overcome confusion. Not sure where this is going, but what we do know is this will be moved to our, if it goes forward, will be moved to the November 18th date. We spoke with council. They need to know, because if they don't get this, they're moving on from the project and won't be going forward. So our next meeting, we'll have a good idea, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background. You would get a copy of their concerns. And then when we get a response, if any from the company, which we anticipate, we'll also forward that to the board at that time.
Incidentally, I was approached by one of the aldermen up there, who I saw in a social setting, about apparently there, and I don't know the property, so I'm speaking a little bit out of school, but apparently there's condominiums in the beginning of the property that are rent for above market rents, and then or what they consider above market rents for that part of Lockport. So I guess is there an opportunity to parcel them off? Are they already on separate parcels? Can a pilot be issued for the back piece of it, but not those condominium townhouses, whatever you want to call them? So I don't know where it's going to end up. But
yeah, I don't either. What, in lieu of any potential, the company has always claimed that they're subject to the exemption on these because they're really fast, unlike the owner now. This is a not-for-profit company. And I believe one of the concerns was, well, it's not a charitable company by the city, but not-for-profit doesn't mean charitable. There's a completely different thing. Hospitals are not-for-profits and not charitable. So, you don't have to have a charitable purpose, like 501c3s, to get this exemption. It has to be not-for-profit. So what ends up happening is if they challenged it and found they got it, well, guess what? You're completely off the tax roll. So this seemed like it would be a pretty good idea to come up with some middle ground, and I know about, maybe you can clarify. I believe the town of Wheatfield had done something similar with this group before, with instead of going ahead with that benefit, they ended up with a pilot.
Isn't that Wheatfield Commons?
Yes, same group, and it's a not-for-profit group. And some of the research I looked into, maybe I'm wrong, there were some issues on this entity currently owning this. There's been some complaints about the entity and the for-profit, but we'll see. Hopefully, it works out between the companies, between the city and the company. If not, and they still want to proceed it, then proceed with it. I told the company it is unlikely but possible that our board would move forward with it with opposition from the city, but it's not very likely that our board would act in a positive way. So hopefully it'll work something out. But I just wanted to give you an overview and let you know what the next steps are and why it's not on today's agenda.
Any other issues?
Do we need to approve the resolution?
For
The check signing resolution?
no such resolution. We love those.
All right, next meeting then is November 18th at 9 a.m.